Are we live? Hello, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
I think we're good.
I think
All
so.
right.
All right.
Well, hello again. Welcome to Wizardly Reads. I am your library lady, Mandy. I've got Miss Katie and Miss Margaret from Hortons with me today, as I do every time we have Wizardly Reads.
All righty.
And where are we picking up from?
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7. What is it?
Mudbloods and Murmurs.
Mm-hmm. What is that? Is that a leaf? Looks like lettuce.
Oh,
lettuce.
no. Is that the pumpkin leaf and there's a slug?
Ah, is it flesh-eating slugs?
Oh,
The Hagrid was looking for the flesh-eating slug repellents?
Yes.
I think that is. I think that's a kind of big, gross slug eating right through that pumpkin leaf.
Yes.
That's not the only unpleasant thing that happens in these chapters. 7, 8, and 9.
Yep.
So who wants to start us off? Do we have any comments? I'm checking just to see. So if you guys are hanging out with us, give us a hi or a thumbs up. Say hello if you like the shiny owl.
Our lucky owl.
If you remember our owl's name. Because I don't think I do. What was our owl's name?
It's just the lucky owl.
It's just a lucky owl. I don't think it has a
I
name.
don't think you ever got a name.
It's probably Lowell.
Lowell. Oh, I like it. Well, welcome again, and Chapter 7.
Yep.
Mudbloods
Yep.
and Murmurs.
Yep. We start with Quidditch. Saturday morning, Harry goes to Quidditch practice several hours too early.
Wood woke him up at the crack of dawn.
That's right.
Oliver Wood, we love him. We do. He's a great captain. He just doesn't sleep ever, and we would like for him to get more rest so that the
Yeah.
team can get more rest.
On the plus side, during his, what was it? Probably 2 hours of going over.
Yeah, they just go through strategy. What in the locker room for?
It probably is 2 hours.
And
On a plus-
everyone's asleep.
Yeah, the rest
Yeah.
of the rest of the team gets sleep.
Yep.
George, what is it? Fred falls asleep and starts snoring.
Mhm. And everyone else looks about comatose.
Yep. So then they get out on the pitch, and the sun's up.
Yep. And Ron and Hermione have breakfast.
They're just sitting in the stands eating in front of all of these poor Quidditch players who didn't get breakfast.
Exactly. And they say to Harry, haven't you started yet? And he says, no. I mean, how would you feel? Like, wait a minute.
But then they see someone else in the stands?
No, coming across the field is the whole Slytherin team
Oh no!
carrying brand new brooms.
And
oh.
Special permission from Professor Snape
Mm-hmm. That's right.
for permission to use the pitch for what?
Training their new seeker.
Yep.
And who could that be?
From behind
Oh.
6 very large figures comes a 7th, much smaller,
Mm-hmm.
smirking all the way.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, it's Draco Malfoy.
Draco. How on earth did you get on the team? Oh, is he
No,
in
no
here?
picture.
No picture yet.
No picture. Yep.
Funny you should mention Draco's father. The whole Slytherin team smiled more broadly. I'm assuming they're smirking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The generous gift. 7 brand new this year, Nimbus 2001s. Came out last month.
Ugh.
Let's see. We know a later broom is several hundred galleons. So Draco's Seeker was the tune of probably 1,500
Wow.
galleons.
Wow. So
Wow.
Draco's dad spent that much to get him on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Bought everybody new brooms.
Yep.
Lovely. We love it.
Yep.
It's great. And they also get the Quidditch pitch. Even better.
Yep.
Well, at least everybody gets to go eat breakfast, right?
Mm-mm-mm.
Well, not before somebody makes a very rude remark.
Well, it's because
Hermione does it. Not at least no one on the Gryffindor team had to buy their way on. They got
that's
on
right.
I would
Pure
call that
Italian.
rude. I would call that true.
Yeah.
The smug look on Malfoy's face flickered. No one asked your opinion, you filthy little mudblood.
A what?
Oh.
Well, I don't know
Oh.
what that is, but everybody else seems to.
Harry said he knew immediately that Malfoy said something bad, but he didn't know.
But everybody else on the team
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Even Ron, who told Malfoy to do what?
How dare you? Ron grabbed his wand, yelling, "You pay for that one." Uh-oh. But what happened?
He told him to.
Poor Ron.
He told him to eat slugs.
Yeah.
And as we know, Ron's wand is not in the best of order, so it
So
shot
it
out the
just
wrong
went-
end.
Yep.
Bang!
And
And
now
Jet of green light shot out the wrong end, hitting him in the stomach.
hitting Ron in the stomach.
No!
And that's him there. That's the illustration of him. He gets to eat slugs, and by eat I mean throw them up,
Yep.
which is what he's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So they haul off to Hagrid's to see if he can help.
Yeah.
Yep. And as they reach Hagrid's hut, the door opens and Gilderoy Lockhart comes out.
And they hide real quick.
Of course.
Oh no!
Because nobody wants to deal with him.
No.
Well, Hermione might want to, but she hides too.
Yeah, and
Reluctantly.
Hagrid's not that happy.
Nope.
Nope.
So what was Gilderoy doing there? For what reason?
What did he say?
To get Kelpies out of a well.
Yes,
Pretty sure Hagrid knows what he's doing with
the Kelpie,
the Kelpie.
Yeah.
which is, what was it? The most famous Kelpie in Harry Potter mythology is the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh.
Which is why no one can find it, because apparently its favorite form is a large Loch Ness Monster. And then when the hell goes to find it, it turns into an otter and swims off. According to the Fantastic Beasts.
Very nice.
There
Very
you
nice.
go. Yep.
But you don't want to play with a Kelpie as a muggle because they will drown you.
Yes, they will.
They're not
Apparently.
fun.
That's not a thing we want to do.
No.
Let's see here. Banging on about Kelpies and a banshee he banished. If one orders it was true, I'll eat my kettle. It was very unlike Hagrid to criticize a teacher.
What? Hagrid doesn't believe that Lockhart did all those things that he wrote about?
No.
Well, can't you trust what you read in a book?
Well, if you remember what happened with those pixies, the Cornish pixies that were in the defense of against the dark arts class, and and
Still sure that's not a spell.
Yeah, I don't think
No.
so. I don't.
that what was it, pesky pixie pestonomy or
Yes.
something?
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
If it's easy to say, if it sounds like what it's talking about, it's probably not true.
Probably not. Yeah.
And then let's see. Hermione tries to convince Hagrid that it's okay and says, it's unfair. Dumbledore obviously thought he was the best person for the job. And then you find out he was the only person for the job, and the job is probably jinxed.
Yeah. And once they
Yeah.
found that out, once all the other prospective teachers found that out, they were no longer interested.
That's right. Yep.
And then what comes next, Katie?
Then we have that
They explain what a mudblood is. Mudblood is.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
So what is a mudblood?
It's the most awful word Malfoy could think of, apparently.
Oh wow.
And it is a really foul name for someone muggle-born, non-magic parents. There are
Yep.
some wizards, like the Malfoy family, who think they're better than everyone else because they're what people call pureblood.
Right.
The rest of us know it doesn't make any difference. Look at Neville. He's pureblood, but he can't stand a cauldron the right way up. Poor Neville.
Poor Neville.
And Hagrid says they haven't invented a spell or Hermione can't do.
That's right.
That's right.
Just goes to show that you cannot judge someone's ability based on who they are.
Nope.
It's a really disgusting thing. Dirty blood, common blood. Most wizards these days are half-blood anyway. If we hadn't married muggles, we'd have died out. And Hagrid said it was probably a good thing. Ron got cursed instead of Malfoy because the last thing we needed was Lucius Malfoy coming up to the school causing trouble.
So Ron might have to deal with it, but it was probably the best thing to happen
Right.
anyway.
And he just burped for a little while longer, and a few little slugs came out, but pretty much it was over and done with. Except
Except?
that Professor McGonagall told them they were going to have to do their detentions.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, for
So
flying the car to school.
can't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
So Ron and Harry are going to go to detention, but not together. They have separate detentions.
Yep. And Ron ends up having to polish all the silver trophies in the trophy room
Mm-hmm.
without magic.
Elbow grease.
Mm-mm-mm.
And Harry
Oh, no. Poor Harry.
also has to do some manual labor.
Oh.
He gets-
Worst fate.
He gets to address the letters
Yes.
going back from all of
Gilderoy Lockhart's fans.
all the fan mail. He gets to help answer it.
And Harry, I think we've realized, he doesn't really like Professor Lockhart.
I don't blame him. Professor Lockhart's kind of condescending to him.
Yeah, and he thinks that Harry is just looking to make himself more famous and
No,
be
that's
all,
just
and
Lockhart.
it's not. Yeah, exactly.
Lockhart is doing that. And
All
is
right.
that the end of the chapter,
So
or
what
is there
happens
something?
there
Yeah.
is that it goes on for hours and hours, and suddenly Harry hears a voice. Come to me. Let me rip you. Let me tear you. Let me kill you.
And where's the voice coming from?
What?
What? Who is saying that in Hogwarts?
And Lockhart didn't hear anything?
So Harry goes to find it, right? Isn't he?
Well, they were looking like, gosh, look at the time. It's
Mhm.
already so late. You know, your tension's over. Ooh.
that's a lot.
And then he tells Ron about it. Because he goes back to the Gryffindor Tower.
Mm-hmm.
And so neither one of them know why there's this voice or where the voice would be or why Lockhart couldn't hear it.
But it's probably not a good idea for Harry to go talking about it, because even in the
Nope.
wizarding world, it's not a good idea to be hearing voices.
That's right.
So the next chapter.
Let's see. Is there anything
Oh.
we?
Did
Oh,
we hit all
yeah.
the questions?
Any questions? Let's see.
About the only one is, could Ron's wand be fixed by a teacher? His spellotape didn't work.
His spellotape did not work. So could a
Mm-mm.
teacher? Well, what do we know about wands? That they are made of wood.
Yep.
And they're
Mhm.
made of some type of core.
Mm-hmm.
Typically from an animal, a magical animal.
Yep.
So could Professor Sprout and Hagrid maybe get together and fix it? Those are the only two subjects that deal with animals and vegetation. Probably not.
Probably not. There must be something special about wands.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think got that. Oh, does Dumbledore feel the same about Lockhart? If the rest of the teachers don't like him.
I don't know. Dumbledore's hard to read, but I do think that he's a very smart man. So
And maybe he's also very kind and diplomatic.
maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe he's trying to give someone a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe.
But then the next chapter, the Death Day party.
Oh dear.
And what happens? What's a Death Day party?
Oh, the rotting fish.
Yeah. Although she don't want to eat the fish.
Oh.
Gross.
That's not the best.
Gross. Let's see here.
October.
Colds attack the castle. Pep up potion is. That'd be a very nice way to get rid of a cold, to be fair.
Pepper up potion.
Yeah, even if you do have to, steam out of your ears for a few minutes.
I'd let it happen at that point, because it probably clears out your ears, too.
Probably.
Raining, and let's see. The rain has not dampened Oliver Wood's enthusiasm. A few days before Halloween, Harry returns to the Gryffindor Tower, drenched and splattered with mud.
But he gets... Is this at the very beginning where he's walking in?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and
dripping with mud.
yes, and guess who sees him?
The same person who just cleaned the floor.
August Filch, the head caretaker, and he grabs Harry and he wants to write him up.
He wants to hang him up by his thumbs.
True, true.
But
So-
he's trying to write him up and he hears something. What happens?
There's this massive bang. And so Filch runs out because he thinks, okay, what's Peeves up to now?
Because it's his nemesis, Peeves.
Yeah, Peeves is always doing, the poltergeist is always doing things to annoy Filch.
Right.
So, alrighty. Do we have any pictures of
I
that?
don't see any. I don't think we
Oh,
do.
goodness.
Yes, alright.
Sadly.
Sadly, no pictures.
So while Filch is gone, Harry sees an half-open envelope on the table and he realizes, what's that? And he sees it says Quick Spell, a correspondence course to beginners magic. And he's like, who needs that?
This
Or,
is a school. We have
Like-
beginner's magic classes.
like, what?
But then it says,
Feel out of step in the world of modern magic? Find yourself making excuses not to perform simple spells? Ever been taunted for your woeful wand work? There is an answer. Quick Spell is an all-new, fail-safe, quick result, easy learn course. Hundreds of witches and wizards have benefited from the Quick Spell method. So why would Filch need that?
unless he wasn't a wizard?
Or maybe
Or
he
maybe-
had problems doing spells?
Maybe.
I don't know. We don't know.
He's in a castle full of teachers. I feel like
Yeah?
that would be the best place for him to learn. But maybe
All right.
they can't teach him?
Ah, yeah. So, anyway, Filch comes back and he's saying that vanishing cabinet was extremely valuable. He said gleefully to Mrs. Norris, and that's his cat.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Peeves out this time. And then he realizes, uh-oh. What? Uh-oh.
His
the quick
letter.
spell letter was not where he put it on the desk.
It
And-
was been moved.
So he's like, have you... He looks at Harry. Did you read... Oh, what? And no, said Harry quickly. If you read... No, that might be... No. And he says, very well, go. Don't breathe a word. Oh, so Harry thinks, oh, I'm getting out of this. Woo!
Nobody gets away from Filch.
No. So he speeds out of the office. Woo!
And who does he
All right.
meet?
Nearly headless Nick.
I think we still don't have a photo of.
Do we still
Oh,
have? Do
goodness.
we? Well, it's getting a little
Nice.
mystical in here, though.
Okay.
No, not really.
Not quite there
what
yet.
does nearly headless Nick do? He says, well, he got Peeves to do the sort of diversion to get Filch away to help Harry, which was really nice of him.
Especially because he is the Hogwarts ghost.
The Gryffindor ghost.
I'm sorry, the
Gryffindor
Gryffindor ghost.
Yes. Yeah. So,
And then
he asks Harry because Harry says, well, is there anything he can do? And he says, well, I wouldn't ask, but yeah, that this Halloween he was going to be celebrating his 500th Death Day party. What?
I'm just wondering.
Like, okay.
When did it become a thing to celebrate your death day?
one never asked with a ghost, I have a feeling.
No.
Right?
Exactly.
So they do go.
Mhm.
Hermione seems quite keen. Ron's
Yep.
kind of like, okay.
And that's, of course, where we had the stinky, rotten fish in the front of the beginning of the chapter.
And all these other lovely items here that have been rotting quite a while to give them a rather strong flavor.
Or they try so that They can float through it and maybe get a little hint of food. And
Can
you know,
they
but
taste
it's
it?
rotting food.
Almost.
No.
They can almost taste it.
Almost.
Let's see. The ghosts are a set of nuns, a man wearing chains, which most people are like, is Marley walking around
Or is that the
there?
oh, you guys know who I'm talking about, the Slytherin ghost.
Nope, he doesn't wear chains.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
The fat friar is talking to a knight with an arrow sticking out of his forehead, and the bloody baron
The Bloody Baron.
The Bloody
was
Baron.
given a
Yes.
wide berth by the other ghosts. And
Yep.
then we run into Moaning Myrtle, who
Mhm.
haunts the girls' toilet on the first floor.
But we don't just run into her. He calls her over as Hermione is describing why no one wants to go and hang out in her toilet.
Yeah, poor.
Yep.
And then we have the little bit of data that is why we think Harry Potter is dated in the 1990s, because it says Sir Nicholas died on Halloween 1492.
So that's why we know if you add 500 years to that, it would be 1992.
That's correct.
Right?
Or J.K. Rowling's bad at math, because
Or
he's,
yes.
because he's described as an Edwardian or a Elizabethan with the full collar.
Right.
1492 was the reign of her grandfather.
Henry
the Seventh, not.
That's okay. Maybe he needs that huge ruff to keep his head on, so that he doesn't wobble.
Because they didn't do the huge ruffs then. They did some of what we would call the princess hats, some of the early Hennons,
Mhm.
the pointed princess hat, but not the huge ruff.
Well,
Nuns.
she didn't. She did write that in there, didn't she?
Yeah,
The
she said-
description.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
is it? I think it's in. I think it's in this book. It's certainly in the first one.
Yeah. About
Ruffled plume hat, curly hair, tunic with a ruff.
Yeah.
Pale as smoke and could see right through him.
Well, maybe he saw a different design and tried to make his ghost fit in with the times, and then that's when he stopped.
maybe.
I could that would definitely be a interesting Hogwarts outfit with the full.
Oh yeah.
Interesting uniform.
But the whole reason that Harry was invited was to do Nick a favor and talk him up
Exactly,
to.
Oh,
what is
gosh,
his name?
Yes. What was his name? Patrick,
Patrick
somebody.
something.
Patrick somebody or other.
Podmore?
Sir Patrick
Delaney Podmore.
Podmore.
Wow.
Also a very fancy name.
Very fancy name. Talking Nick up to Mr. Delaney Podmore so that maybe Podmore would let Nick into the headless hunt.
Yes.
Yes.
Which he is not going to do because he couldn't join in with, what was it? Head polo? Head polo. And head juggling.
Yep.
His head is
The
a little
ghosts
too
need more
attached.
light.
I
The
was
guys
gonna
need
say-
more to do in town.
Like, is that what you do?
Is that
If
all
you-
you
if
do?
If you walk through things, how can you catch a head that just will go through?
Maybe
your
it's
hands?
like on a different plane. Like if you are smoke, maybe you can catch smoke.
Maybe. Maybe.
Let's see. And there's one other thing we learned about ghosts is that Moaning Myrtle is not a normal ghost because she's notoriously bad for flooding the bathroom.
And this, by the way, is what it means to be a part of the headless hunt. You get your own horse, and your head does not
And you
sit
can
on your shoulders.
toss that head around.
Right.
So weird. And then once when they finally can't stand the cold anymore because it's apparently freezing,
Yep.
and the orchestra, 30 saws starts back up, the Harry, Ron, and Hermione kind of run for their lives, backing out slowly.
Don't blame them.
Uh-oh. Here we see what's in the hallway.
Yeah. And then they
Well, they
try
were
and
gonna go to the feast.
Yep, they tried to sneak to the feast, and then
Yep.
Harry hears the same voice again.
What was it saying?
Tear. Kill.
And we don't know, but we also see something. Harry and the gang, they catch up to. Can anyone tell me what that picture is illustrating?
They see the wall, and there's writing on the wall, and under that wall looks like frozen Mrs. Norris.
Mm-hmm.
Filch's cat is hanging from the fixture, and the writing on the wall says, "The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware."
What does that mean?
Now what?
Well, Ron decides they need to get out of there before they find out what that means, but they can't because the feast is over and everybody's heading back.
And then there's also Harry almost slips in a huge puddle of water there in the hallway.
And
That's when they see the cat.
is that the end of the chapter?
Well, we have one last thing, which is Draco Malfoy. As everyone, hits the car door and realizes what's happening, you go silent, as large crowds tend to do.
Yeah.
And then you have Draco Malfoy shout, "Enemies of the air, beware, you'll be next, mudbloods." And of course, there's not a teacher anywhere around.
No, of course not. So, that was chapter 8.
And then chapter
Did
9.
we have any
Oh yeah, do we hit all the
questions
main
or
points?
thoughts on chapter 8?
There is that Mrs. Norris and Filch seem kind of weirdly connected.
I think they
She
just
seems-
got a bond, you know?
A bond where if she sees something, she calls him somehow.
I don't know. I have a cat that sometimes tells me when it's time for bed. So, cats can be smart.
Yep. Maybe she sees that, there's someone got into trouble. Let me get Filch.
Let me go get Filch. Mhm. She's just trying to keep her castle safe
Yep, that's right.
from mischief makers.
Yes.
Of course, in the movie, they digitally altered her eyes so they were kind of red, which was kind of scary.
Yeah, they did do that. They did.
Aw, poor Mrs. Norris.
At least they didn't make the cat wear contact lenses or something that they do to a human.
Right.
They just did it CG, but it was like, that's a little scary.
So on to our next chapter, the writing on the wall. And we've got an illustration of, I think that's Professor Benz.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we'll find out why he's our head of the chapter.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Filch shows up, sees Mrs. Norris, and falls back, clinging his face in horror and screaming. And when he's done shrieking, his eyes fall on
Harry. And he screeches, "You've murdered my cat!"
To be honest, I would be upset too.
I would be too.
I would be
I
beside
think
myself.
anybody would be, yeah. But
May I
then,
have your attention, please? The library will be closing in 30 minutes at 5 o'clock.
All
Volunteers will
righty.
automatically shut down in 15 minutes.
That's right.
but luckily we have Dumbledore arrives,
Hmm.
and all the other
And-
teachers.
and the other teachers are behind him.
Especially Lockhart, who is going on and on and on about how he, if he had just been there when the whatever
Yeah.
the thing was killed Mrs. Norris,
Mm-hmm.
he could have saved her. All these many ways that he could have saved her, and
Yeah.
Dumbledore says,
She's not dead. She is petrified.
so
Yep.
Lockhart is wrong
Mhm.
again.
Again.
But he says he thought so. All
Yeah.
the various deaths he said didn't count.
That's
he was,
right.
He knew it was going to be petrification.
Yep.
And Filch once again asks Harry how he did it. And Dumbledore says there's no way a second year could do this. It's very dark magic.
Hmm.
But he says he knows I'm a squib, and Harry goes, but I don't even know what a squib is.
And poor Filch, like I understand that he's upset, but he also just outed himself
Yep.
to an entire corridor filled
Yep.
with students.
Yep.
Because he was emotional, and I just feel bad for him because
That's right.
that's a hard thing.
Yep.
And then Snape comes to Harry's defense.
Wait. Snape comes to the rescue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotta hear about this.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do it, Katie. There's no way I can do Alan Rickman's
All right.
voice.
Potter and his friend may have simply been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay, I have to say that face shield really helps your Alan Rickman come through. That was awesome.
And he also then asks, but we do have a suspicious set of circumstances here. Why was he in the upstairs corridor at all? And why wasn't he at the Halloween feast?
Well, because they were at the death day party, right? And they were just ready to go to bed because they ate at the death day
Big
party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
No. But we were gonna try and go to bed anyway.
And Ron even says, well, we weren't hungry. And his stomach went grrr, grrr, grrr.
Poor Ron.
Uh-oh.
All right, next page.
And then Snape, of course, feels that Potter is not being entirely truthful. It might be a good idea if he were deprived of certain privileges until he's ready to tell us the whole story.
Pray tell, what privileges, Professor Snape?
I personally feel he should be taken off the Gryffindor Quidditch team until he's ready to be honest.
Of course you would think that.
And Professor McGonagall says sharply, really, Severus, I see no reason to stop the boy playing Quidditch. This cat wasn't hit over the head with a broomstick. There is no evidence at all that Potter has done anything wrong.
And there's not.
No.
So they take Mrs. Norris, and they're going to take care of her later. They're going to see what they can do with Mandrake Root when it gets
That's
when
what
it gets
Dumbledore explains to Filch very patiently.
And then let's see. Lockhart says he can make the draft,
Yes.
and Snape apparently rounds on him and says, "I am Potion Master."
Exactly.
I mean, it's not like
No.
Snape would ever want to be the defense against the dark arts teacher and do his job, would he?
Yep.
And
And then
well,
Yes, he would. He would.
and Dumbledore lets the children go. I'm assuming so they can have a nice, quiet teacher conversation.
Yeah.
Run now. And then Harry asked if I should have told him about the voice, and Ron and Hermione both go no.
And then next day? Do we want to go ahead to next day?
Well, we
And
do
Professor
discuss what
Quirrell-
a squib is.
Oh, we do.
Right.
That's right.
Yes,
Yes.
Ron says what a squib is, which is someone born to a wizarding family but has no magical powers.
It's kind of like
Very
the
unusual.
opposite of Muggle-born.
Yeah.
Right.
But Muggleborns are more common.
Right.
Right. I guess we're all Muggle-born.
I guess so.
And then
I don't know. My mom can do some amazing things, so sometimes I wonder if she's got some powers hidden somewhere.
Ginny seems very disturbed and just fragile, which is different from how her brothers describe her.
But she's so worried. Mrs. Norris. She'd only just gotten to know her a little bit.
Right. And she's got a soft spot for cats.
She
Yes.
does. She
Yes.
does.
And she has been bullied to taking pepper potion by Percy as well.
Right,
So
right.
she's not having a good October, really.
No. But her brothers are looking out for her. They're trying to cheer her up and tell her how terrible that Miss Norris was. Mrs. Norris, apparently. If
Look at
only
her
if she,
sneak.
yeah, if only she had gotten
But
to
she's
know
a
her.
cat.
Then she's ever heard curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back.
Held at potions. 3.
Are we at Professor Ben's class with Hermione?
Going.
Hermione wants-
There it is.
She wants to read up on the legend of the Chamber of Secrets, but
That's right.
all the books on the history of Hogwarts had been taken out of the library because everybody wants to read up on the Chamber of
That's
Secrets.
right.
And Hermione doesn't have her copy.
Because she left it at home.
Because
That's
she
why.
had so many Lockhart books. That was the problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
D3. So she interrupts history class, which apparently ends the world.
Sure it does.
So Professor Benz, who we saw at the very beginning of the chapter,
Try
Way
not
back
to bend
somewhere.
pages.
Way back somewhere.
Oh, wait. It's this one.
There we go. Dear Professor Binns, isn't he the only teacher who's a ghost?
He is.
Yes.
So, just wondering, does anyone out there love their job so much that they would still be doing it in the afterlife?
That they would just basically sort of fall asleep and continue the next day, come back as a ghost and be working? Oh, well. He
So-
must really love his history.
Right? So Hermione asks Professor Binns.
Uh-huh.
About the legend of the Chamber
Yes.
of Secrets. And he says he only deals with facts.
Yeah. And then she says, please, sir, don't legends always have a basis in fact?
And they do.
And he was looking at her in amazement. Harry was sure no student had ever interrupted him before, alive or dead.
Mhm.
So we get the history of Hogwarts. 4 great wizards and witches of the age: Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin.
Mhm.
Built the castle far away from prying eyes 1,000 years ago. And they all were very harmonious for a few years, and then Slytherin wanted to be more selective about the students admitted. Magical learning should stay with all Muggle families. There was a row, and Slytherin left. But the legend goes that he built a hidden chamber in the castle that the other founders knew nothing about, and was sealed till none except for his own true heir could open the chamber and unlock the horror within.
And in case
Right.
some don't understand, what is an heir?
Heir.
H-E-I-R is not like the air we breathe, but
That's right.
somebody who descends from your family.
Like you are probably the heir of your parents and grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
School has been searched many, many times by many learned wizards and the headmasters and headmistresses. It doesn't exist. They can't find it.
It's just a bunch of, what is it that Hagrid says? Codswallop?
Codswallop. But- Seamus Finnegan asks Professor Binns, if the chamber can only be opened by Slytherin's true heir, no one else would be able to find it, would they?
Exactly.
So,
and then he's done. Professor Binns is done. We're going to return back to history.
it's a myth. It does not exist. There's not a shred of evidence that Slytherin ever built so much as a secret broom cupboard. Okay.
And the cast goes back to sleep.
Yep,
Yep.
the whole class.
Yep.
Back to
Yep.
sleep. It's nap time, guys.
Mhm.
And then a rumor is going around school that Harry must be the heir of Slytherin. Just because, I
Just
guess.
because.
Of course.
I don't know if we're given exactly why at this point.
But I
No,
think
just
that
because.
the Golden Trio have a different idea of who the heir of Slytherin could be.
Yeah.
Who would you think it is?
Someone in
Well.
Slytherin, of course.
Someone in
Yeah.
Slytherin?
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't be a
Uh,
Gryffindor. It had to be a Slytherin.
Mm-hmm.
And who is the nastiest Slytherin that we can think of?
Mm-hmm.
Always Malfoy.
Draco Malfoy. Yep,
Malfoy.
100%.
Family's been in Slytherin for centuries.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Oh.
somehow they end up back at the.
That's
While
right.
having this conversation, they end up back at the hallway that they're not supposed to be near.
Yeah.
Right.
And Harry says, well, it can't hurt to have a poke around.
But can it?
And then he says there are scorch marks.
Scorch marks?
How does one scorch stone?
I
That's
don't
pretty,
know.
that's pretty bad.
No, that's pretty bad. And then Hermione notices that all these spiders are all scuttling,
And
fighting to
Ron,
get out through a small crack.
Ron is ready to go. He does not want to be there anymore.
No, I'm gone. I'm
He
gone.
is out of there.
Whoop.
He does not like spiders.
Yep. Because his teddy bear was turned into a spider when he was 3.
Ooh, that's
No.
terrible. Ugh.
That's scarring, you guys.
And Fred
Yeah.
was only 5. Those are some pretty good wizards.
I'm telling you, Fred's got skills.
Yep.
Let's see here.
And that's when they remember all that water that was on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And
Where did that come from?
and then it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Ron says we can't go in there.
Mm-mm. That's a girl's bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, specifically,
Moaning
Moaning
Myrtle.
Myrtle's bathroom.
Okay, she looks really creepy at that.
She does.
So
Poor
creepy there.
Myrtle.
So creepy looking.
Why is she moaning Myrtle?
She looks older than I think she's supposed to as well.
I think
Yeah.
so.
She's supposed to be a girl.
Well, maybe she just looks really.
She's been a ghost for a while, I think.
As a ghost, maybe.
But
Let's
she
see.
haunts that bathroom and nobody ever goes in there.
No.
And that was I had this thought, ladies. What do you think? Why would you have an out of order sign in a wizard school for a bathroom? Couldn't someone just magically fix the toilets?
Well, how do you fix a magic problem with magic? Can you fix a magic problem with
Or
magic?
if you're Filch and he
Mhm.
can't fix the
Oh.
toilets because he's a squib?
Squib.
I don't know.
Now, is it really out of order, or does everything
Or is
work?
it
Just
just-
no one wants to go in there
I
because she's
think it
screaming.
works.
Is it just because she's in there?
She's just constantly flooding it, maybe.
Yeah.
I think they just got tired of
Oh,
taking
yeah,
the out of order sign down when they fixed it and then her flooding the bathroom again,
That's
having to
right.
put it back up. And
that's right.
they just left it on there.
Okay.
And then as they leave the bathroom, Percy ends up so scandalized. Ron just came out of the girls' room.
Oh, it's gonna
The world is
embarrass
ending.
him.
Oh, yeah.
He won't be Minister of Magic now. His brother was once seen coming out of a girl's room. Or at least that's what Ron says anyway.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yep. Yep.
Percy says that it's because he gets angry because Ginny thinks they're going to be expelled. And then Ron yells back, you just think we're messing up your chances for head boy.
Truth.
That's it. Yep.
Percy. It's such a hard life.
Yep.
Using your little sister to make everybody do what you want them to do.
That's right.
Just like an older brother.
Yeah.
And then we have to the Malfoys. And then we need to somehow ask Malfoy without him realizing.
So what
Yeah.
would you do in order to get Malfoy to tell you all his deep, dark secrets? You would have to turn into his best friends.
Well, you'd have to be a Slytherin at least.
Well, how
Or
do you...
somehow.
Exactly.
But
How do you do that?
Yeah.
Apparently, if you'd listened to Snape a few weeks ago, they would have heard about Polyjuice Potion.
Which is the potion that allows you to become someone else?
Become somebody else.
Yeah.
Completely
Wow.
change your appearance.
Yes. And your voice.
And your voice.
Or does it not change your voice?
Yeah.
In
can't
the
remember.
books, it changes your voice. In the movie, it does not.
Yeah.
But the only problem with Polyjuice Potion is the book it's in is in the restricted section of the library,
Uh-oh.
which Miss Pence will only let you have it once you have a signed note of permission from a teacher.
All right, ladies, let's think. Which teacher could we convince that we only wanted the book because we were interested in the theory? Which teacher could we convince to give us a permission slip based on that? McGonagall, you think?
McGonagall wouldn't fall for that. She's been teaching too long.
For sure, for
She'd be
sure.
going like, nope.
What about Professor Binns? Could he even pick up a pen? Could he pick up a pen? Let us know if you think that a ghost.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Can he pick
Would
up a
he
pen
be
to
able
write
to
it?
sign something? I don't know.
So could they have just gone up to Madam Pence and said that
Oh,
Professor
we just gotta
Binns
look.
wanted to give them
Yeah,
permission, but he
yes.
couldn't write it down?
Yep. Yep.
Maybe?
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Is there another choice?
And
Let us know what you
what
think.
does Ron say? He says, oh, come on. No teacher's going to fall for that. They'd have to be really thick.
Mm-hmm.
And who do you think That would be that thick.
Let us know in the comments who you think they are going to get their permission slip from. Who are they going to get that permission slip to get into the
No more pictures.
get into the restricted
Restricted
section? Does
Yeah.
it say?
No.
I don't think
No.
it does.
That's how the chapter ends.
That was a
So
lot
we'll
of
have to
fun.
find out next time.
Yep.
We sure will.
So the next 3 chapters are, I
10,
don't know.
11, and 12.
And did we hit all of our questions for chapter 9?
We did.
Nice.
So it's the Rogue Bludger, which is chapter 10.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 11 is the Dueling Club, which sounds like a lot of fun.
It sure does.
And chapter 12 is the Polyjuice Potion.
So next week we will get to talk about the Polyjuice Potion.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yes.
And more Quidditch.
Probably.
And what was the other one?
Dueling.
The Dueling.
The Dueling
learn,
Club.
learn how to
Yes.
duel.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think Dueling Club is going to be all about. And the Rogue Bludger sounds like Quidditch to me. What do you guys think?
Probably.
All right. Well, I have had a lot of fun. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. And we will see you next week at Wizardly Reads, Tuesday at 4 o'clock.
Thank you all.